Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like, share, and restack buttons. Well, this is a disturbing trend, and it's accelerating. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this right here. This is an article from Zero Hedge. A couple of weeks ago, it says, it's just not right. Major venues now punishing people for using cash instead of plastic. It says fans heading to Yankee Stadium hoping to pay in cash at the iconic ballpark for their favorite concessions have been thrown a curveball. Go cashless or pay extra. As the Wall Street Journal reports, Noah Kamala, a 41-year-old New Yorker, found out the hard way. Looking to enjoy some popcorn and soda at a game, Kamala was shocked to discover that his cash was as good as obsolete. Instead, he was directed to a reverse ATM where he inserted $200 only to receive a debit card with $196.50 after he was hit with a $350 service fee for the convenience, quote, convenience of going cash free. And guys, I would say that that's decidedly inconvenient. Whereas you used to be able to sit in your seat, hand cash to the vendor, they'd hand you what you want. Now you have to go find this reverse ATM, insert the cash, get part of it back. That's very inconvenient. And yet they're always claiming, keep in mind, they're always claiming when they roll out these different cashless payment methods, oh, it's so convenient, right? You can save 17 seconds buying that hamburger. So they're always selling it on the aspect of convenience, but this is absolutely inconvenient. So why would you push people to do this? Well, we all know the reason why. It's a rhetorical question. It says it's just not right, Kamala told the outlet, echoing the sentiments of other New Yorkers shocked that what used to save you money, cash payments, now cost more. In some cases, transaction fees have soared more than $6 just for the privilege of spending your own funds. Indeed, cashless venues and restaurants are popping up across the country, forcing cash lovers to either adapt or pay up as the war on cash continues. Guys, we've seen this firsthand. I believe it was about a year and a half ago. My oldest daughter, she went on a school trip to Busch Gardens, which is a big amusement park near our area. And we gave her some cash. Luckily, we also gave her a card as well, because when she got there, they wouldn't take cash anywhere. They just don't accept it. You know, some of these reasons might be they claim, well, there's theft or problems making change for the people working the cash register, whatever their reasons. We all know why they're doing this, why they're pushing toward this. They're trying to control us, basically, at the end of the day. Maybe not Busch Gardens or Yankee Stadium, but the orders are coming down from on high, from whoever wants to do this to the banks, and then the banks are pushing it on these different establishments. I know also they save on some of these transaction costs, and in some places, I mean, think about, for those who remember video arcades, or even a place like, say, Chuck E. Cheese, if you're even familiar with that, there's people all over the world watching this, so they may not even know what a Chuck E. Cheese is. But in order to play games, you put the cash into a machine and you get a token out. But the token can only be spent at that venue. And so they count on a certain percentage of those never being used. And then they pocket the difference. It's sort of like gift cards. The gift card industry is a big industry. People hand these out to other people, and then they might use part of it or they might lose it, and then it just goes unused, and the company just reaps that reward itself, takes that benefit. So there's some of that going on here, but ultimately there is a push for a cashless society. This goes on. It says reverse ATMs like those at Yankee Stadium are now common at cashless venues and restaurants across the country. as a way to cater to those who prefer paying in cash. Well, the way to cater to them would be to have them be able to pay in cash. But it says people who want to pay for their parking tickets, tolls, taxes, or phone bills in cash, meanwhile, often learn that government agencies and businesses have outsourced that option to companies that usually charge a fee. All that can amount to a penalty on the people who prefer paying cash. Though it's more common to buy things with cards and mobile devices, cash remains the third most popular way to pay, accounting for 16% of all payments in 2023. That's down 2 percentage points from the year before, continuing a steady decline that accelerated during the pandemic. And it's not just about convenience or the speed of transactions. Again, of course it's not, because if you have to take the cash and go to a reverse ATM to get a card out to then go use the card, that's not convenient. That's not speedy. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't even help the venue, because if you're standing in line only to find out that that's the case, then you have to get back into line, take up more time for everybody. There's no convenience whatsoever to this for anybody. It says, to let my 13-year-old boy buy a slushie at the amusement park, I'm already out $6, said Prudence Weaver, 41, who said she would rather be able to use cash on trips to the zoo and other venues versus paying fees for debit cards. I understand there's a place for electronic payment, but I don't think it should be the only option. Of course not. But the people who want us to have it be the only option, that's what they're pushing us toward. It says, despite the digital dominance, cash is still king for a significant chunk of Americans. According to the Federal Reserve, full 16% of payments were made in cash in 2023. We just read that. Says it's unbelievable that we actually have to tell retailers this is U.S. currency and it's something you should accept, said Jonathan Alexander, executive director of the Consumer Choice and Payment Coalition, a group of businesses and nonprofits lobbying for the continued acceptance of cash. And again, we have a problem when we have to have a big industry group to advocate for cash, right? The backlash has spurred some action. So this is some good news. States like Colorado and Rhode Island have pushed back, banning cashless retail establishments. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are batting around bills that would make it mandatory for businesses to accept cash for purchases under $500. But the future of these efforts remains uncertain. In the meantime, companies like ReadyRef are cashing in, literally doubling their shipments of reverse ATMs to keep up with demand from businesses ditching traditional cash transactions. It's been a pretty wild shift, said Will Pym, Senior VP, probably one of the biggest we've seen for a specific product in such a short amount of time. Even as venues pocket fees from these new systems, the debate rages on whether this shift truly serves the public. It's not a debate, guys. Obviously, if you're serving the public, you're going to serve them in whatever way you can. What you would think, what's most convenient to my customer? What do they want? Whatever happened to the customer's always right. We don't see that anymore. So that tells you there's no debate over whether this truly serves the public or merely lines the pockets of corporate giants. At stadiums, amusement parks, and beyond, the cost of going cashless continues to climb, and it's everyday consumers who are footing the bill. So next time you head out to a ball game, remember, bring your plastic or be prepared to pay up. Or you could say, oh, well, I have cash. I'm not going to buy that from you. And then once they lose profits on that from people abstaining from purchasing when they're not given a cash option, then maybe they'll change their minds. But guys, this is the trend, and there's a reason for this trend. We've already seen, we talked in the past about Australia and the banks there. They have several major banks going cashless by the end of this year. You won't be able to deposit cash. You won't be able to withdraw cash. Think about the implications of that. Well, if you can't deposit or withdraw cash, can't write checks, none of that. It's all electronic. All electronic transfers. That's all they'll do. Well, if you're a business, you can't really accept cash if you are a business with that banking entity, because what are you going to do with it? You would have to go deposit it, which you can't do, or you have to hold on to it, and then you're subject to theft. So all this cash builds up, especially if you're the only business in town accepting cash. People are going to flock to that. And then people start targeting you and think, oh, well, they have a bunch of cash over there. So the banks are going to be pushing businesses to do this, to cut down on their transaction costs. And of course, because the eventual rollout they want is central bank digital currency. And we keep seeing the year 2030 thrown all around, and Australia has a plan by the year 2030 for their entire banking system to be completely electronic. No more checks, no more cash, no more currency of any kind. So it's all electronic. Well, that's not that far away. Some people are saying effectively they'll be there by the end of the year anyway. And so we see what they're pushing toward, guys, and none of this should surprise us. Shouldn't surprise us at all, because, well, the Bible tells us that's where we're headed. Again, we read in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17, he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. So during the tribulation period, at the midpoint of the tribulation, we're going to see this mark of the beast rolled out by the false prophet and the Antichrist. And no one will be able to buy or sell anything if they don't have that mark. And so we're seeing that system being laid out right now. Again, going cashless is not the mark of the beast. Central bank digital currency is not the mark of the beast. But the push for all of these things, and again, they're pushing, they want central bank digital currency everywhere. Every nation in the world, and they want to eliminate cash entirely. We've looked at videos where Christine Lagarde in the European Union, she said, well, we're going to punish you if you use cash. It's a crime if you use cash over a certain denomination. And of course, they set that bar really low. I think it was 200 euros. But as inflation takes hold, eventually, will that even buy anything a few years down the road? So they know that. They know they'll phase that out entirely. But it's none of their business. What they want is they want control, and they're going to keep rolling these things out. This is setting the stage for the rollout of the mark of the beast, because all of this infrastructure is being put in place now. Again, if we were near the tribulation period and we didn't see any of this, we would say, well, exactly how are they going to do this? Because again, the Antichrist, the false prophet, they won't simply create all of this overnight. It's going to be slowly built up until they get to a point where they can simply flip a switch and implement this mark of the beast system. And so seeing all this infrastructure being put in place, seeing the foundation for that system laid into place now, tells us we're approaching that tribulation period. And guys, that means that Jesus is coming back at the end of that tribulation period, his glorious appearing to establish his kingdom, but it also means that he's coming back for the church before that period. So guys, Jesus could come back at any moment. We should be ready and waiting. We know we live in the season of the Lord's return, because he said multiple times, when you begin to see all these things take place, know that I'm right at the door. Your salvation draws near. We've seen what Jesus and the prophets said to look for. We're seeing those things in our day and time. This is just one example. So guys, we should be looking up. We should be eagerly awaiting the return of Jesus. We want him to find us doing what he told us to do, what he expects us to do when he returns. And guys, we need to be sharing the good news with as many people as possible. And again, I've said before, I think this is a perfect lead-in. This cashless society and the rollout of central bank digital currencies, it's a perfect lead-in. If you're at one of these venues and you see, say you're at the ballpark or the amusement park and somebody beside you wants to use cash but they can't, and they get irritated by it, tell them, well, you know, this was foretold in the Bible almost 2,000 years ago in the book of Revelation. It said, Revelation 13, verses 16 through 17, what we just looked at. And you know, they're pushing for this. They want central bank digital currency. Talk to people about it. It's a perfect segue to telling them about what the Bible prophesies for the future and what it prophesied in the past about a coming Messiah who, with detailed prophecies, the birth, the life, the death, and the resurrection of that Messiah, and how Jesus of Nazareth fulfilled every single one of those prophecies. So, guys, use this to preach the gospel. Tell other people about the good news. God can turn all these evil things into beneficial things, and this is the perfect example. This cashless society, let's use it to tell people about the good news of Jesus. So, what do you think? Leave your comments below. Have you encountered any of these types of venues in the past? You've tried to use cash, they won't let you. If so, let us know in the comments. Anything else you want to say, leave that in the comments. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, restack buttons. And God willing, I will see you on Monday. Bye. If you want to learn more about the end times and Bible prophecy, make sure to visit my Substack at brittgillette.substack.com. There you'll find my latest videos and articles, as well as notes, where I share the latest news headlines, the articles I'm reading, and the videos I'm watching. Subscribe for free, and each new post on Substack will be sent directly to your email. Just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and hit the subscribe button. As an added bonus, your first welcome email will include a link to a copy of my free ebook, 7 Signs of the End Times. Also, make sure to check out all of my books. Just look up Britt Gillette on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, or anywhere books are sold. Thanks for watching today, and until next time, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.